The massive vessel appeared without warning, materializing above New York City in a flash of purple light that momentarily turned night into day. Global defense systems, supposedly the most advanced on Earth, hadn't detected its approach. As civilians pointed smartphones skyward and social media erupted with speculation, military commanders worldwide scrambled to battle stations. The ship hung motionless, its obsidian surface absorbing light rather than reflecting it. 3 miles long and shaped like a twisted arrowhead, it dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed. For 6 hours, it remained silent, ignoring all attempts at communication, while the world held its breath. Admiral Sarah Chen sat in the Pentagon's underground command center, watching satellite feeds and listening to increasingly panicked reports from her global counterparts. As Earth's foremost expert on xenological defense theory, she'd spent decades preparing for first contact. Now that it had arrived, none of her scenarios seemed adequate. "Admiral," her aide interrupted, "the UN Security Council is convening an emergency session. They're requesting your presence." Chen nodded, gathering her tablets. "Any change in the vessel's status?" "No, ma'am. Still dark, still silent." The meeting had barely begun when the alien ship finally spoke. Every screen, every device, every display panel worldwide simultaneously activated, showing the same image, a towering figure with iridescent scaled skin and multiple sets of eyes arranged in geometric patterns. "People of Earth," the being announced in perfect English, its voice resonating with harmonic undertones that made listeners' teeth ache. "I am High Commander Vexthor of the Arcturian Empire. Your world has been chosen for integration into our dominion." The Security Council chamber erupted in overlapping voices until the aliens' next words silenced them. "We require tribute, resources, workers, knowledge. Provide these willingly, and your species may continue to exist under our protection. Resist, and we will take what we want anyway." As diplomatic chaos erupted, Chen noticed something odd about the transmission. The alien's mouth movements didn't quite match its words. Running the feed through specialized software confirmed her suspicion. This wasn't real-time communication. It was pre-recorded, likely translated, and broadcast through automated systems. The alien continued, "You have 14 solar days to prepare your tribute. Our requirements will be transmitted shortly. Choose wisely." The transmission cut off abruptly. Within minutes, every government on Earth received identical lists demanding specific quantities of minerals, manufactured goods, and most disturbingly, human laborers selected according to strict genetic and physical criteria. In the privacy of her office, Chen made a secure call to a number very few people knew existed. "Director Harrison, it's time to activate the Artemis Protocol." Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a facility that officially didn't exist, banks of lights flickered to life. Massive hangar doors groaned open, revealing sleek shapes that humanity had spent decades preparing in secret. Director Harrison's voice crackled through Chen's secure line. "The fleet is ready, Admiral. We've been waiting for this day." For 50 years, the world's governments had maintained a carefully crafted illusion of technological limitation, while pouring trillions into classified space development programs. What began with recovered alien technology in Roswell had evolved into a sophisticated space force, hidden from public view, and their own people to avoid panic or interference. Chen addressed the Security Council with carefully measured words. "Ladies and gentlemen, while we must appear to comply with these demands, I need to show you something. Something that will change everything you thought you knew about Earth's defensive capabilities." The next 12 days were a carefully choreographed dance of deception. On the surface, Earth's governments made a show of gathering resources and selecting potential laborers, all while the hidden fleet mobilized. Spacecraft that had never seen combat moved into position behind the moon, crews trained in simulators finally taking their posts on real bridges. Chen stood on the command deck of the EDS Hyperion, Earth's first true battlecruiser, watching status reports from the gathering fleet. 97 ships, armed with weapons reverse-engineered from a dozen different alien technologies. Not nearly enough for a prolonged war, but perhaps enough for what she had in mind. "Status report," she commanded. "All ships report ready, Admiral," her XO responded. "Quantum shields at full power, gravitic drives nominal. The Arcturian vessel hasn't detected us." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Now we wait." The 14th day dawned with humanity's hidden fleet in position. The Arcturian ship, still hovering above New York, prepared to receive Earth's tribute. Instead, they would receive humanity's answer to tyranny. Chen took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and gave the order that would change human history forever. "All ships, execute Operation Defiant Dawn. Show them humanity's real tribute." The EDS Hyperion's bridge hummed with contained energy as Admiral Chen watched the tactical display. Earth's hidden fleet had emerged from behind the moon, their quantum shields rendering them invisible to conventional sensors. The Arcturian vessel, massive and arrogant in its solitude, still hovered above New York City, unaware of the storm about to break. "All ships reporting ready." "Admiral," Commander Rajpatil announced from his tactical station. "Ghost Protocol is maintaining our sensor invisibility." Chen nodded, her expression carved from stone. "Begin Phase 1. Let's show them humanity's answer to tyranny." The fleet split into 3 battle groups, executing a maneuver they'd practiced countless times in simulation. Battle Group Alpha, led by the Hyperion, would engage directly. Battle Group Beta would flank from high orbit, while Battle Group Gamma maintained position as strategic reserve. "Open a channel to the Arcturian vessel," Chen ordered. "Wide broadcast. Let everyone hear this." The communications officer complied, and Chen stood straight, her voice clear and unwavering. "Arcturian vessel, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your demands for tribute have been considered and rejected. We counter-offer immediate withdrawal from Earth space or face the consequences of your aggression." Seconds ticked by before the alien commander's image appeared on the main screen. Vexthor's multiple eyes widened slightly, the only indication of surprise at discovering Earth's hidden capabilities. "This is unexpected," the Arcturian commander admitted, harmonic undertones creating an unsettling resonance. "Yet futile. 1 ship or 100, your primitive technology cannot hope to." "Target locked," Patel interrupted. "They're powering up weapons systems. Execute attack pattern Epsilon," Chen commanded. "All ships, weapons free." The space around New York City erupted in a choreographed dance of destruction. The human fleet dropped their quantum shields simultaneously, appearing like ghosts materializing from nothing. Before the Arcturian vessel could bring its main weapons to bear, the first salvos struck. Concentrated beams of exotic particles, reverse-engineered from crashed alien technology and enhanced by human innovation, lashed out from Earth's ships. The Arcturian vessel's shields flared brilliant purple, holding initially, but humanity had planned for this. "Deploy the Med-USA units," Chen ordered. From the hangars of Earth's ships emerged swarms of autonomous drones, each barely larger than a fighter jet. The Arcturians' point defense systems tracked and destroyed many, but it didn't matter. They weren't designed to survive. The drones that made it through detonated in carefully calculated patterns around the alien vessel. Each explosion released a precise electromagnetic pulse, modulated to a frequency discovered in decades of studying alien shield technology. Where one pulse would have been ineffective, thousands created a cascading resonance effect. Sections of the Arcturian shield grid began to flicker and fail. Their return fire was devastating. 3 human ships disappeared in balls of plasma, but they couldn't target everything at once. "Shield disruption at 30%, Paddle reported. Med-USA swarm depleted but achieving expected results. Battle groups Beta and Gamma maintaining position." Chen allowed herself a tight smile. "Deploy Phase 2. All ships, execute attack pattern Theta 6." The human fleet's formation shifted, moving in ways that defied traditional space combat doctrine. Instead of maintaining safe distances, they closed in aggressively, presenting multiple threats from multiple vectors. It was a technique born from Earth's naval warfare history, getting inside an enemy's effective firing solution. "They're launching fighters," the sensor officer announced. "Hundreds of them." "As expected," Chen replied. "Deploy our countermeasures." From Earth's ships came a new wave of weapons, clouds of smart nanites that targeted the alien fighters' propulsion systems. Traditional electronic warfare had proven ineffective against alien technology, so humanity had developed alternatives. The nanites didn't need to destroy the fighters, just disable them. The battle space became a chaos of energy weapons, disabled fighters, and dueling capital ships. The Arcturian vessel was formidable, its technology superior in many ways, but they'd never faced an opponent who combined salvaged alien tech with human ingenuity and desperation. "Their shield grid is destabilizing," Paddle reported. "Hull breaches detected on multiple decks. They're venting atmosphere." Chen keyed her fleet-wide channel. "All ships, concentrate fire on their primary power core. Pattern Omega Strike. Execute on my mark." The Arcturian vessel launched a final desperate salvo. 2 more human ships vanished in atomic fire, their crews' sacrifices adding to the growing cost of freedom. But the outcome was no longer in doubt. "Target locked," Patil announced. "All ships reporting ready." Chen took a deep breath. This moment would echo through human history. "Execute Omega Strike." Every surviving ship in the fleet fired simultaneously, their weapons synchronized to strike the same point at the same microsecond. The combined energy burst overwhelmed what remained of the Arcturian shields, punching through to the vessel's core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the massive ship's spine began to crack, energy bleeding from its wounds. Secondary explosions cascaded along its length as internal systems failed catastrophically. "They're powering up their faster-than-light drive," the sensor officer reported urgently, attempting emergency jump. "Let them go," Chen ordered. "That's what we wanted." The Arcturian vessel vanished in a flash of purple energy, leaving behind debris and disabled fighters as testament to the battle. But Chen knew this was just the beginning. "Damage report," she commanded. "5 ships lost with all hands," Paddle responded solemnly. 7 others reporting major damage. Fighter losses at 60%. "But Admiral, we won." Chen shook her head. "No, Commander. We survived the first round. The real war is just beginning." She turned to her communications officer. "Get me Earth Command. Tell them Operation Silent Thunder was successful, but we need to accelerate our preparations. The Arcturians will be back, and next time they won't underestimate us." As the fleet regrouped and began search and rescue operations, Chen stared at the tactical display, already planning for the battles to come. Humanity had bloodied the nose of a galactic power, but in doing so, they'd announced their presence on an interstellar stage. The next moves would determine not just the fate of the war, but humanity's place among the stars. 30 days after humanity's first victory against the Arcturians, Admiral Chen stood in the newly constructed Lunar Command Center, watching holographic displays of construction efforts across the solar system. Earth had not wasted the breathing room bought with blood and courage. "Mars Defense Platform Alpha is now operational," reported Colonel Diana Santos, her hologram flickering slightly with the signal delay. "The Phobos and Deimos installations will be combat-ready within 48 hours. Jupiter Command reports similar progress," added General Marcus Wong from his station near Europa. "The mineral extraction facilities are fully converted to shipyard operations. First batch of new vessels will be ready in 15 days. Chen nodded, studying the strategic display. Humanity had revealed its teeth in the first battle, but survival would require something more: the ability to bite back. Status of Project Prometheus. Dr. Elena Volkov's image appeared, her excitement barely contained despite her professional demeanor. "The prototype exceeds all expectations. Admiral, The captured Arcturian fighter's drive system gave us exactly what we needed. We can now match their FTL capabilities. This was the game changer they'd been waiting for. The disabled Arcturian fighters left behind after the battle had proved a treasure trove of technological insights. Human engineers and scientists, already familiar with similar principles from decades of reverse engineering, had made remarkable progress in adapting the technology. Time to implementation, Chen asked. We can begin retrofitting the fleet immediately. New construction will incorporate the drives from the ground up. 3 weeks for full deployment. A proximity alert cut through the briefing. Multiple FTL signatures detected, the sensor officer announced. Approaching from the Kuiper belt. Massive energy readings. Here we go, Chen muttered. Sound general quarters. All stations. Execute Protocol Omega. The Arcturians had returned, but this time with a proper invasion fleet. Initial counts showed over 30 capital ships, each larger than the vessel they defeated a month ago. Behind them came swarms of support craft and what appeared to be troop transports. But humanity was ready. As the alien armada approached Mars orbit, they encountered not a hastily assembled defensive force, but a carefully prepared killing ground. All stations, maintain stealth protocols, Chen ordered. Let them commit to the trap. The Arcturian fleet moved with precise military formation, clearly expecting resistance but finding nothing. Their confidence was about to become their undoing. They've crossed the outer marker, reported Tactical. All defense platforms showing green. Chen allowed herself a grim smile. Execute Operation Hydra. Across the solar system, humanity's preparations revealed themselves. The apparently abandoned mining facilities on various moons and asteroids transformed, weapons arrays emerging from camouflaged positions. The Mars defense platforms, hidden beneath the surface of Phobos and Deimos, powered up their main guns. But the real surprise came from the seemingly empty space between the planets. Thousands of microsatellites, each barely larger than a coffee table, activated simultaneously. These were humanity's answer to being outnumbered. The Hydra network. Hydra units showing nominal, Dr. Volkov reported. Quantum entanglement grid stable. The Arcturian fleet found itself caught in a three-dimensional web of coordinated defense systems. Each Hydra unit was relatively weak alone, but they worked in concert, sharing targeting data and energy through quantum links. When one was destroyed, its neighbors adapted and compensated. They're responding, Tactical announced. Enemy fleet breaking into defensive formations. Launch our counter-offensive, Chen ordered. All ships, execute Attack Plan Delta. The Earth Defense Fleet emerged from hiding, but not from predictable positions near Earth or Mars. They came from the dark side of Venus, from Jupiter's radiation belts, from camouflaged bases in the asteroid belt. Humanity had spread out, refusing to be caught defending a single point. The space between Mars and Jupiter erupted in combat. Arcturian technology was still superior in many ways, but humanity's preparations and unconventional tactics began to tell. A Hydra network prevented the aliens from concentrating their forces effectively, while human ships struck from unexpected vectors. Enemy flagship is launching some sort of energy weapon, Tactical reported urgently. Configuration unknown. A massive beam of coherent energy lashed out from the Arcturian command ship, cutting through space like a scythe. 3 Hydra clusters vanished instantly, their quantum links screaming electronic death into the void. As expected, Chen replied calmly. Execute reflection protocol. The remaining Hydra units synchronized their shields, creating a complex geometric pattern of overlapping energy fields. When the next Arcturian beam struck, it encountered not just resistance but deliberate interference. The beam scattered, portions of its energy reflected back at the alien fleet. Direct hit on enemy support ships, Tactical reported. Their formation is breaking up. But the Arcturians weren't finished. Their ships began releasing clouds of what appeared to be metallic dust, some kind of counter to the Hydra network. Wherever the dust spread, quantum links became unstable. Adapt and overcome, Chen ordered. Switch to Mode 2 operations. The human fleet's response demonstrated why they'd survived countless wars on Earth. The Hydra units that could still communicate began physically linking together, forming larger structures. What had been a cloud of small, coordinated targets became a series of improvised battle stations. Arcturian fleet is pushing toward Mars, Tactical reported. They're trying to establish a beachhead. Not today, Chen responded. All units, execute Operation Thunderbolt. This was humanity's trump card. As the Arcturian fleet committed to their Mars offensive, the defense platforms on Phobos and Deimos revealed their true purpose. They weren't just weapon platforms, they were giant electromagnetic launchers. Hundreds of kinetic penetrators accelerated to relativistic speeds, their paths calculated weeks in advance. The Arcturian shields, designed to handle energy weapons, proved less effective against simple mass moving at appreciable fractions of light speed. Multiple direct hits, Tactical announced with carefully controlled excitement. Enemy fleet showing significant damage. They're falling back to regroup. Press the advantage, Chen ordered. All ships, execute pursuit protocol. Don't let them establish a stable formation. The battle raged for hours, spreading across the inner solar system. Both sides took heavy losses, but humanity's preparation and willingness to adapt began to turn the tide. The Arcturian fleet, expecting an easy conquest, instead found itself fighting for survival. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of combat, the alien fleet began an organized retreat. They'd lost nearly half their ships, and the rest were damaged to varying degrees. As the last Arcturian ships vanished into FTL, Chen turned to her staff. Begin recovery operations, and get me a secure channel to Earth Command. We need to prepare for what comes next. What do you think they'll do? Asked Dr. Volkov. Chen's expression was grim but determined. They'll be back, with a better understanding of our capabilities. But next time, we won't be fighting a defensive battle. Project Prometheus gives us the ability to take the fight to them. It's time humanity showed the galaxy that we're not just good at defending our home. We can reach out and strike back. The solar system had witnessed humanity's first major victory in interstellar warfare. But as cleanup operations began and damage reports came in, everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Arcturians would return, probably with new weapons and tactics, but they would find a humanity that was also evolving, adapting, and preparing to carry the fight beyond the bounds of their solar system. The EDS Hyperion emerged from FTL in a distant star system, its enhanced stealth systems immediately activating. Admiral Chen watched the tactical display as data from their first push into Arcturian space began streaming in. The ship's quantum sensors, reverse-engineered and improved from captured technology, painted a picture of bustling activity around a massive orbital shipyard. Multiple enemy vessels detected, Commander Paddle reported quietly, though in the vacuum of space, whispers weren't necessary. Mostly support craft and under-construction ships. Minimal combat-ready units. What about the anomalous readings that brought us here? Chen asked, studying the complex network of structures before them. Dr. Volkov looked up from her station, eyes bright with excitement. Confirmed, Admiral. The energy signatures we detected from Earth weren't Arcturian. There's another species here, and they're prisoners. The discovery had come 3 weeks earlier. The main screen activated, showing helmet cam footage from the strike teams. The prisoners were definitely not Arcturian. Tall, graceful beings with silvery skin and what appeared to be chromatophores that shifted colors with their emotions. Currently, those colors showed shock and hope. One of them stepped forward, touching what appeared to be a translation device. You are the ones who fought back. The Defiers. We saw. We are. The strike team leader confirmed. We're here to offer you a choice. Freedom, if you want it. The alien skin rippled with blue patterns. We are the Kilari. The Arcturians destroyed our world when we refused their demands. We have waited long for others who would fight. Multiple enemy contacts incoming. Tactical interrupted. They've called for reinforcements. Chen keyed the fleet-wide channel. All ships, begin Phase 2. Strike teams, expedite evacuation procedures. We're about to have company. The battle that followed demonstrated how far humanity had come in space warfare. The human ships moved with precision and coordination that surprised even their Arcturian opponents. When enemy reinforcements arrived, they found not just human ships, but newly freed Kilari joining the fight, their knowledge of Arcturian protocols proving invaluable. Kilari engineers are interfacing with the shipyard systems, Volkov reported excitedly. They're shutting down defensive grids, opening access to restricted areas. Admiral, they're giving us access to Arcturian shipbuilding data. Chen nodded. This was already becoming more valuable than they'd hoped. Download everything and prepare for emergency FTL exit coordinates. We're about to wear out our welcome. The operation took less than 3 hours. When it was done, 3,000 Kilari had been freed, critical Arcturian military data had been secured, and the shipyard's production capacity had been severely damaged. As the fleet prepared to jump back to human space, Chen addressed their new allies through the translation systems. We can offer you sanctuary and an opportunity to fight back. Earth isn't as advanced as your world was, but we're learning quickly. The Kilari leader, who had introduced himself as first speaker Ixal, responded with patterns of determined gold across his skin. You have given us hope where there was none. The Arcturians believe they are the only ones who can unite the galaxy. Perhaps it is time to show them another way. Multiple hostile contacts approaching, Tactical warned. Arcturian heavy fleet elements detected entering the system. Time to go, Chen ordered. All ships, execute emergency jump protocols. Welcome to the Resistance, friends. The human fleet, now carrying their Kilari allies, vanished into FTL moments before the Arcturian battle fleet arrived. They left behind a crippled shipyard, a wealth of stolen military intelligence, and a clear message. Humanity wasn't just defending its home anymore. They were taking the fight to the enemy. And they were building alliances. As they headed back to Earth, Chen knew this raid would have far-reaching consequences. They had struck deep into Arcturian territory and succeeded, but more importantly, they had found others who would stand against the Empire. The war was evolving into something larger than a single-species fight for survival. First Speaker Ixal, she called across the command channel. Once we reach Earth, I believe our leadership would be very interested in discussing what you know about other species under Arcturian control. I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a much larger cooperation. The Kilari leader's skin rippled with patterns of starlight. Indeed, Admiral Chen, the Arcturians have many enemies. They simply needed someone to show them that resistance was possible. Perhaps humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy will not be your technology or your tactics, but your relentless spirit of defiance. 6 months after the Kilari rescue, Earth had transformed. Orbital shipyards hummed with activity, producing vessels that merged human ingenuity with Kilari expertise. The once hidden fleet had grown into an armada, its ships incorporating technologies from both species in ways that made them more effective than either alone. Admiral Chen stood in the newly constructed Galactic Command Center, surrounded by both human and Kilari officers. First Speaker Ixal's chromatophores shimmered with anticipation as they reviewed the latest intelligence. The Arcturian Empire is mobilizing on an unprecedented scale, reported Commander Patel. They're pulling forces from 17 systems to mount a major offensive. Let them come, Chen replied, studying the holographic display of known space. Are the other resistance cells in position? Ixal's skin rippled with confirmation patterns. The Norveri mining colonies are ready to revolt. The Zentheri defense grid engineers have planted their sabotage protocols. Even the Myriad Collective has pledged their support. The liberation of the Kilari had sparked something unprecedented. Other subjugated species, hearing of humanity's defiance and the successful rescue operation, had begun reaching out through covered channels. What had started as Earth's defense of its sovereignty was becoming a full-scale galactic uprising. New contact. The sensor officer announced. Massive FTL signatures approaching Sol system. This is it. All forces to battle stations, Chen ordered. Execute Operation Avalanche. The Arcturian fleet that emerged from FTL was staggering in size. Over 200 capital ships supported by swarms of smaller vessels. They had come to crush the resistance once and for all. But humanity and their allies were ready. As the Arcturian fleet pushed into the solar system, they found not the defensive position they expected, but an empty void. Earth itself appeared nearly abandoned, its orbital installations seemingly deserted. "They're taking the bait," Patel observed, moving into optimal position. "Send the signal," Chen commanded. "Let's show them what a united galaxy looks like." Across Arcturian space, carefully planted saboteurs and resistance cells sprang into action. On a dozen worlds, defense systems suddenly turned against their masters. Shipyards thought secure began launching vessels controlled by rebel crews. The Arcturian command and control network, infiltrated by Xanthari tech experts, began feeding false data to their fleet commanders. In Sol system, the trap closed. The apparently abandoned orbital platforms revealed themselves to be automated drone ships, their empty shells packed with experimental weapons developed by joint human-killer science teams. The real Earth fleet, along with their alien allies, emerged from hiding positions throughout the system. "All ships execute attack pattern unity," Chen ordered. The battle that followed would be studied for centuries to come. Human adaptability combined with Kilari precision, Norvari power systems, and Xanthari electronic warfare capabilities created a fighting force unlike anything the Arcturians had faced. Their fleet, designed to overwhelm through superior numbers and technology, found itself facing opponents who could match and counter their every advantage. "Enemy fleet is attempting to regroup," Tactical reported. "They're trying to establish a defensive sphere." "Implement the Prometheus Protocol," Chen commanded. This was humanity's greatest contribution to the Alliance, the ability to think laterally, to combine technologies in unexpected ways. The Prometheus Protocol used Kilari quantum field technology, filtered through human-designed chaos algorithms and powered by Norvari fusion systems, to create localized areas where physics itself became unpredictable. The Arcturian ships, relying on precise calculations and predetermined combat protocols, found their weapons missing targets that should have been impossible to avoid. Their formation, once precise, began to break apart. Multiple enemy vessels attempting emergency FTL, sensors reported. "Their retreat vectors are scattered." "Not this time," Chen replied. "All ships activate null space generators." The combined human-alien fleet activated devices that created localized disruptions in FTL space, trapping the Arcturian forces in normal space. For the first time in their history of conquest, they had no avenue of escape. "Incoming transmission from the enemy flagship," communications announced. "They're requesting terms." Chen exchanged looks with Ixel, whose skin now rippled with patterns of victory and justice. "Put them through." The Arcturian High Commander appeared on screen, his multiple eyes unable to completely hide his shock. "This is unprecedented. Never in our history." "History changes," Chen interrupted. "The galaxy is no longer yours to dominate. We offer you one chance, immediate and unconditional surrender. End this empire of subjugation, or we end it for you." The battle's conclusion was almost anticlimactic. Faced with certain defeat and growing reports of rebellion throughout their territory, the Arcturian command structure collapsed. Within hours, their fleet had surrendered. Within days, the empire that had dominated the galaxy for centuries began to crumble. 1 month later, Chen stood with representatives from 24 species in the newly established Galactic Council chamber, not a place of dominance and tribute, but a forum for cooperation and mutual defense. The Arcturian Empire forced unity through fear and domination. She addressed the assembled delegates. They believed that was the only way to bring order to the galaxy. We've proven there's another path. Unity through mutual respect and cooperation. Strength through diversity rather than conformity. Ixal, now serving as the Kilari representative, added his own testimony. His skin patterns shifted through complex emotions as he spoke. Humanity showed us that size and technological advancement aren't the only measures of a species' worth. Their adaptability, their innovative spirit, and most importantly, their unbreakable will to resist tyranny sparked a revolution that freed countless worlds. The newly formed alliance of free species would face many challenges in the years to come. But as Chen looked at the assembled representatives, humans, Kilari, Norvari, Zenthari, and many others, she knew they would face those challenges together. Earth had not only survived its first contact with hostile alien life, it had helped forge a new era of galactic cooperation. Humanity's spirit of defiance, combined with their ability to adapt and innovate, had transformed a simple act of resistance into a revolution that reshaped the stars themselves. In the end, the Arcturians' demand for tribute had received an answer they never expected. Instead of submission, they had found defiance. Instead of collecting resources and slaves, they had sparked the creation of something unprecedented. A galaxy united not by force, but by the shared desire for freedom and the willingness to fight for it. As the council session ended, Chen received a message from Earth Command. New unknown energy signatures had been detected beyond the galaxy's edge. Something else was coming, perhaps peaceful, perhaps not. But whatever it was, humanity and their allies would face it together, ready to extend friendship to those who sought peace and defiance to any who would threaten their hard-won freedom.